Man, one of the greats hung him up this week. Jesus Shuttlesworth announced his retirement, and we know his jersey's going up in the rafters in South Beach. But the question is this: is dude the GOAT?
I want you to take over.
Life is good. Why would I want to do this, huh? Especially at Hayes? I can't believe you left Lincoln anyway.
Oh yeah, now that's a film I'd like to see here, and that was part of the trailer of the new short film, Still Got Game. It is expressed as the reimagined sequel of Spike Lee's 1998 classic, He's Got Game. The film flashes back to 2013, where Jesus Shuttlesworth gets fresh into retirement from the NBA to discover that his past is now his present. And I'll let this person correct me if I'm wrong later, but we're thrilled to have him on the show and to review the entire short film later. But first, please welcome, joining us virtually, is the director of Still Got Game, Maurice Elrod. Here, yeah. Woo! Maurice, can you hear us?
I can, man. Thanks for having me. This is awesome. I had no idea that Vicky was going to be there. So
Surprise!
Listen, I had to call Vicky on this because obviously she barely answers our calls on that. So, but there you have it here. But, I think I'm going to let Vicky ask the first question. So go ahead if you.
Sure.
Yes.
Wow. Well, oh my gosh. I can't believe it's been, it feels like just yesterday that we worked on this project. And I see you've been making your rounds all throughout the country, telling everyone about the film, yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
How's it been going? What new responses are you getting?
Man, it's been an overwhelming experience. Basketball is near and dear to me, and I feel like, people love the sport, love all the great movies that's come before us. There will be plenty to come after. But it's been a great experience. People reminisce back on that time of watching that film, Spike Lee's He Got Game, and they're like, oh, wow, that's an incredible twist that I didn't think about. So I think it's been pretty cool so far.
Great. That's awesome.
Yes. Now, just a question about the film, because I know there's a lot about the film that you put in like getting the characters, but like tell us about the inspiration of like with the characters and where did this, because there's a story behind this that you put in that where you mentioned about the legacy is something that you leave behind, but like I'm trying to ask why Jesus Shuttlesworth, why give the character that name in that story is here. So you want to elaborate on how the characters came about here?
Yeah, so, to be quite honest, man, I had this idea about 3-4 years ago. Mm-hmm. I had to shoot it in New York City. I'm based in Houston. I'm from Chicago originally. And, the thought of it really was, well, I felt Spike Lee didn't finish the film. I felt like he kind of left us hanging a little bit. Mm-hmm. And there's a director named Morgan Cooper. He created the Bel Air series. If you guys have seen that, and it started with the trailer. That trailer, man, viral. Obviously, it got to Will Smith, and here they are in season 2. And legacy is what you leave behind. We all will have a legacy, right? Whatever we're doing in the present moment, once we're no longer here, it will be left behind us. So it's kind of like a duality where Jesus has his own legacy, and then there's this kid, right, that he didn't know about that will also have a legacy, and kind of like he left it behind, didn't even know that he had a child, right? So that's kind of the whole impetus behind that whole phrase there. But again, it sparked really because of what Morgan Cooper did a couple years ago. It drew inspiration off of a film that we all loved, and He Got Game, and wanted to see, like with most films, you can spin it off, right? That's written like the reboot season, it feels like.
Beautiful.
Cindy?
Yeah, I guess why He Got Game? So why basketball? You mentioned it's dear to you. What is sort of the background in relation to?
Yeah, for sure. So Cindy, man, it's pleasure meeting you. So basketball in high school, grammar school, and played in college. I went to a Division III school in Ohio. called Over College. That same time frame when He Got Game came out in '98, I was just finishing high school. I was going to college. Obviously, it's the first time you've seen really like an NBA player like Ray Allen getting the chance to actually act, but also we knew he was, well respected for his basketball skills. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Spike Lee too, right? So I think the very end of the movie is kind of where most people are wondering, well, what happened, right? Did Jesus go to big state and go to the NBA? Like it was just never clear to us, right? Did Jake get out of prison? What happened with his sister, with Booger? It was just so many like questions that was left unanswered. And so I took an approach to try to answer those questions.
I'm definitely a fan of He Got Game. What inspired you to pair your love of basketball with a sequel like He Got Game? That's such a, those are big shoes to fill. And then also, you mentioned in the film, legacy is something that you leave behind. What legacy do you want this film to leave behind?
Great question. So I'll tackle that one first. Honestly, for me as a filmmaker, I think it's important, the being keepers anymore, right? You can pick up your camera and you can film whatever you want. You can put it on all these different platforms. And so for me, I want to be able to spark interest in other young filmmakers, young kids who want to be able to tell a story of their own, and just have the desire to do so, right? Not worried about, if it's going to go viral or get rave reviews, or if I ever be Spike Lee, or if it ever gets done. For me, it's all about just doing the job and doing the work, and let the chips fall where they may, right? The first question, I'm sorry, was about the film He Got Game itself.
Yes.
I went to All-Star Weekend in Salt Lake City, and it was a great experience. I mean, just to see the mountains and stuff. And I've been there once before, a long time ago. But I approached so many people and asked them one question, like, what's your favorite basketball film of all time? And I got so many different answers. Above the Rim, He Got Game, Blue Chips, Loving Basketball.
Yes.
There's so many of them, right? And I think if you took a time to think about, well, what happened in Loving Basketball, right? At the end, Scott Litton's character went to go play in WNBA, right? So like, you can almost carry that story on if you wanted to. There's always a way to find like a sequel to most stories. Now, will it be better than the original? In some cases, maybe not, but you can always spark that thought.
Yes, Maurice, and I can't wait to see this film here. But we do have more questions for you, but we'll ask you that after we watch this short film here, because I can't wait to see this here once more, for sure.